Gonna give the other members about 5 minutes to hop in the Zoom, and then we'll get started.
Does somebody need to @ Jean?
She may be working. Although she was actually, I think she's here, or she will be here.
Sorry, I was struggling to find the Zoom link. I was looking in the email. I don't know why I expect it to be there.
Come on, Jean.
Usually I put it in the email, but
I'm only 1.5 minutes late, okay?
We are back to using the standard Zoom, which is pretty nice.
Standard Zoom versus
the one we had to use last time.
Oh, like my personal meeting room or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I believe we have all 3 project leaders. Yep.
And don't forget to record the meeting.
Yes. It's not 6:05 yet, so we're not going to get officially started. But I do have a couple small things to talk about. And one is, you might be wondering who these random people are in the Zoom. And these are people from Torch Technologies, which is Eli's place of employment. And they will not be really saying much today, but next week they will be kind of presenting Torch Technologies and what they are to the club, and anything the club members might be interested in.
Hey, yeah, thanks for inviting us. I'm sorry, I'm in my car. My video is probably not very good. I just left a baseball game, but thanks for the invitation. I'm Daryl Trousdale, and I'll give you a little bit. But next week, just plan on. We'd like to give you a brief about Torch and what we do and some things that might interest you. But Torch is we're headquartered in Huntsville. We're about 1,200 employees. It's an employee-owned company. We do primarily the Department of Defense work. We have a gaming lab with about 40 developers. And so, we use the technology that you guys are learning about to build synthetic environments for Department of Defense use, like major military weapon systems and training devices and the like. So I'll tell you a lot more about that next week, but thank you for letting us listen in. I don't know if Jeff's on or not. My lead software developer was going to join us too.
He's here.
He's here.
So, okay.
You just gave him a wave.
So thanks for joining, Jeff. And we're just going to kind of sit and listen, if that's okay. And that'll maybe better
Absolutely.
equip us to tell you about Torch next week.
Thank you guys
Sounds
for coming.
awesome. So the other big thing I kind of want to talk about is that the website is getting a major facelift over the past couple days. You might have noticed it. It
Slowly
still
but
doesn't look
surely.
quite as good as it used to back when it was on WordPress, but and the content still hasn't changed very much. And here's the link if you want to check it out. But
And it's
starting to
not
look a little bit
done
cleaner.
by any means, but it is looking better. There's a calendar up there that actually has
Yes.
our meeting topics and things on
We
there.
have a working calendar. And then the last announcement before I hand it off to the project leaders is that next week's meeting content is a little bit up in the air right now. Ezra is still talking to the bit.trip guys, but they are a little bit they said they were gonna get in contact with us early this week, right?
Yeah, they have a new game coming out soon that they haven't announced, so they're a little bit on fire at the moment. But they're doing what they can. I'll let you guys know when we have more confirmation on that. Probably either next week or the week after.
Yeah. And so if they're not here next week, I'll
Exciting.
likely be throwing together a small little design workshop for you guys. But that is all the announcements I have right now, unless any of the other officers have anything to bring up.
Wait, were Daryl and Jeff not
They'll be speaking next week.
Oh. I thought you said next week you were talking about having a demo. What did you say? The following
Next week's meeting content?
Yeah.
That will be either the developer interview or a quick workshop. And they'll have space set aside to talk about Torch technologies.
Okay, cool.
Is that confusing to anyone?
Yes, I get it now. Both are happening.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right. Let me pull up my order here. I believe we're going in alphabetical, which is going to be starting with Project Entropy.
Woohoo.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sounds good.
All right, let me just share this presentation. All right, can you guys see that fine?
Looking good.
All right, so this is the first update for Project Entropy, and just starting off talking about a little bit of the design updates. Number one is in the first presentation, I had kind of talked about how whether it was going to be 2D top-down or 3D was kind of up in the air, and we weren't super sure about which one it was going to be. We did settle on 2D top-down, primarily because of art style stuff. With Ezra, he felt most comfortable with that, and everybody else was fine working with 2D top-down, so that's what we did. We also settled on a goal for the feel of combat. And if anybody's ever played Wizard of Legend, that was kind of like a heavy inspiration for how we were going about designing the combat. It's supposed to be like super fast paced and action combat. Whereas the outside of combat is still going to be that kind of like more dark, foreboding, careful feel. The combat is supposed to be a bit more punchy. And we went about designing some monsters, which we'll get into in a little bit more later on a different slide. But one thing that we did is we looked into some influences for monsters, and several of the monsters that we're going to be doing are influenced on like Inuit and Siberian native mythology. Because we thought like with the atmosphere of the game and the setting being very cold and desolate, taking some inspiration from those cultures could be pretty interesting. And we're gonna do this a little bit throughout, since we've got a couple pieces from Daniel to show you. So this is the first music break. This is like a safe zone village type theme that he gave to us. So let me know if you guys can hear this. Can you guys hear that?
We cannot.
No, I think you need to go back, stop sharing your screen and then share your,
There will be a
there's
button
little
to
check
share
marks.
audio.
Yeah, to share your audio.
All right. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yay. There we go. Now we hear it.
All right, there we go. All right, so that's just a little work in progress we've got going there for the like safe zone. So talking about a little bit about programming, we've got this little GIF here. You can see a little bit of what we have. The basics are done. That's being, the basic character movement, the camera follow works. And we started working a little bit on the combat. You can see in this little clip, the little pill man throws some balls out, which are kind of like the placeholder for spells. So we've got like aiming and stuff working. Enemies, I don't have a video of that. Brandon has been working on those, but we'll get to those next slide. And I've been told that he has a couple of those working. And we've been working a little bit on the kind of like underlying systems that aren't that interesting to show, but are very important. So the basics of like health, fatigue, the temperature system, and we haven't done any implementation of it yet, but the way we're going to like handle switching between spells and managing the spell resource consumption and stuff like that. We've got that kind of laid out. We have a decent idea of how we're going to implement that, and that should be either done or partially done by next presentation. That's the goal, at least. And enemies, so the ones that this slide was made by Brandon, and I believe he told me that he wasn't able, I think he's here, but he said he wasn't going to be able to talk himself, so I'll just give a quick overview of this stuff. Our ranged ones, we've got just knocking a little bit of the basics out, like some archery enemies and some wolves. This right here, these villagers that turn into monsters upon interaction, this is a monster based off of an Inuit folklore creature called Ijirat. They're like shape-shifting creatures. So they'll like, you'll encounter them and you'll be like, oh, look, a friend. And then you'll go talk to them and they are not friends and they're very mean. And this was a really interesting idea that Daniel, our musician, came up with when we were talking about this. A creature that like poses as a campfire or a place of shelter or warmth to lure you in, and then will attack you then. So kind of like how an anglerfish works, but instead of light, it's warmth. We're gonna take a second music break. This one's a little bit more of like an ambient track. All right, and I'm gonna let Ezra talk about this because it's complicated and cool, but I have no clue what any of it is. So,
hey, so those who were with us last semester, you might remember the kind of art style that we did for, I was on Project Drillbit with Connor. So this was kind of, and the idea here was kind of doing the opposite of that, because I found the workflow for what we were trying to do last time very difficult. We were putting using 3D models and putting pixel art textures over them. And that was really hard as someone who doesn't know much about pixel art. So we're doing the opposite this time. We're taking 3D data and we're baking it down to 2D sprites. And one of the advantages of this workflow, so with the little GIF on the right, you can see the cube on the right is just a basic textured cube with no special properties. The cube on the left has its normal data baked from an actual 3D cube, so the light reacts to it realistically. This is kind of similar to the implementation that Dead Cells used for their pixel art. And the advantage is once we start wanting to do things like fine tuning the combat, or if we need to make any sort of changes, it's very easy and very quick to bake out new sprites. Once we have a character modeled, and we can go ahead and go to the next slide and I can kind of show some of that. I've been working on, I guess, not quite placeholder, but like an early iteration of the first character. So you can see a GIF on the right, and that's just done with baking data from a 3D model. Ideally, I would probably go back in and touch up the sprites a little bit on some of the frames that are a little iffy, but I think that turned out pretty well for something that took maybe 20 seconds to render versus, you know, probably 6 or 7 hours by hand if you were to try to animate that. So it's been interesting kind of trying to figure out this process. And there's still some technical issues in Unity because initially I baked the sprite sheets, 60 sprite sheets per second. But Unity doesn't like loading and unloading images that quick. It kind of, there's a little bit of like JPEG artifacting, whatever the plural of artifact is. But it's been an interesting process as someone who has no real pixel art experience. And I think it'll bode well for once the initial setup is done, we now have this placeholder character. It'll be very easy to implement like different spell animations, have the character move in 8 directions. We wouldn't need to do 4 like how some sprite games do. So it gives us a lot of flexibility, even though it has a little bit more work upfront. And you can see the process kind of illustrated there with the model. I render the model once to get the regular sprite. I do it a second time with their normal data exposed. And then Unity actually has the option to kind of merge the two. So we kind of get the best of both worlds. And that's all I've got on this.
All right, and I think the last slide here is just going to be the last piece of music we have, and then we're going to be done. This one's a little bit longer. It's the combat theme that Daniel sent to us. All right, yeah, that's the end of that presentation. That's what we have for you. So
Wow, you guys have done so much already.
It's looking good.
So who did the
Yeah.
first two music pieces?
Daniel did all of them.
Oh, Daniel did all of them. Wow, he
Yeah,
did.
sorry,
he was
if that
really
was
getting
confusing.
good.
Daniel's
Those
doing
were
a lot
all
this
really
semester.
nice. Yeah.
I had a quick question. It's not that quick, actually. But how are
Yeah,
you planning
go
on
ahead.
implementing
And if
the-
anybody has other questions, feel free.
Can you go into more detail on how you plan on implementing the spell system?
Yeah, so I was looking into a couple ways of going about it, but I figured after doing some research and messing with some things that the best way to do it would probably be treating these spells as like items to equip, and basically implementing the spell system as an inventory system. That's kind of the most straightforward way we felt to go about it without messing anything up. And since in this game, at least for the demo we have planned for by the end of the semester, that really you're not going to have like weapons to pick up. You're not going to really have any other inventory. So it's not going to be like too cluttered or anything either. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So like an inventory system for the spells?
Yeah, basically.
I-
And we do think we're probably going to be able to, the exact numbers we're not sure, but we're thinking that you're going to be able to have 6 spells like hotkeyed at any given time. And then further that you would have to select through the inventory. But yeah, Harper, go ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I was wondering, for the whole like normal map thing, were you able to do that all in Blender without using like outside tools for pixelization and the normal map and everything, or like what was the workflow in Blender?
Yeah, I'm a little like that sounds really cool, Ezra. I'm also a little confused still.
So I actually I considered kind of doing some of it like using higher resolution base files and then having Unity try and do the pixelization. And that's kind of what I'm doing for the shadows. The shadows in Engine are actually being like they're high resolution shadows that Unity then pixelizes. But it was actually easier to bake the normal data in Blender. I'm using the Eevee renderer that those of you who use Blender may know. It's insanely fast. It's a real-time renderer like Unity and like Unreal. And so for the normal maps, I literally just pick a mode that they have as like a preset to change all of the textures so that it shows the actual mesh normals. But for the pixelization, it's in the Blender compositor. It's basically scaling it down, kind of like clamping the pixels out so it doesn't, you know how like old sprites don't have, they don't have all the fancy colors we have now. It crunches it so it limits the color band and then it scales it back up, but it does it in a way, it's like the nearest neighbor scaling where it keeps the pixels sharp. And I still kind of want to fine tune it a little bit more, but I think it looks pretty nice for a first pass. And it also has the added benefit of just running like really well on any device because it doesn't actually have to, it gives that depth and has that 3D data, but it isn't 3D. It's just a pixel or a sprite sheet.
I love that. Is so clever. Ezra,
Again,
so
a lot of
clever.
credit to Dead Cells. That's very similar to how Dead Cells has all their pretty lighting effects. So I did not come up with this technique, but I'm glad I could get it to work with Blender because I don't really know what kind of developer magic they did. I think they wrote their own tools.
I've probably read that Dead Cells Gamma Sutra article over like 10 times now. I love that technique.
Does anyone else have any other questions for Project Entropy?
Hey Logan, who all was on your team again?
So it was Ezra doing the art, Daniel doing the music, and then programming. It was me, Brandon Morell, who is here, and then that was the initial team. And then like a week ago, Caleb Schaefer, was that his last name? Let me get that right. Yeah, Caleb Schaefer also joined.
Nice. Caleb was awesome last semester. I'm glad you guys got him on there.
All right. Moving on to the next project, we have Full Contact Golf.
Hey, hello. Can you guys hear me all right?
Sounds good?
Yeah, you sound great.
Cool. Let me share my presentation. So Full Contact Golf, the progress, it's going smoothly. Huge thanks to Rice. He's done incredible things to move this project forward. Getting right into it, networking was mainly, at least for like the purpose of implementing it into the project, entirely Rice's responsibility, and he absolutely blew me away. He's been an incredible resource, an incredible teammate, super productive. Very happy to have him on my team. We're using Mirror as a peer-to-peer multiplayer networking service. If we release the game, or if you guys want to play it, we don't have to worry about CCU counts. It's free because one of the clients is actually the server, and the code is the same for client and server. As I said, Rice has been instrumental in getting that working. He's far exceeded my expectations. I cannot sing Rice's praises enough. All hail Rice. To go with it, we got a couple bug fixes that I got to iron out. Mostly, well, partially my fault. Whenever I hooked up the animations, I did break a couple functions, but just beautiful, clean code to look at. Super proud, super happy to have him on the team. As far as animations, since this game is going to be very animation driven, I've been working on getting a system implemented to make that easier on me. I'm not trained as a 3D animator yet. I intend to be next semester. So for now, I have a placeholder model that I threw together in Blender, and I've hooked it up to Mixamo Animations. It's an Adobe service that provides forward kinematic bone animations for humanoid characters. I've put that through a Unity blend tree. Two-dimensional blend tree lets me take, say I have an animation for walking forwards, an animation for walking to the right. If the character is walking to the forward and the right, it dynamically blends the bone positions so that I don't have to make, 8 different animations if I'm moving like 8 directionally, or if I'm moving like 15 degrees in one direction and straight forward, it'll blend that to something that makes sense programmatically and takes a huge burden off the animation side of it. Also, the fact that those animations are ready as long as I have a humanoid character has been a tremendous load off my shoulders and meant that I can get stuff hooked up at this kind of speed. What you're seeing right now is basically what's implemented at the moment. He's got this full 8 directional motion and can swing the golf club. If the golf club hits another player's golf ball head, I want to say that it flies off. It did last night, and when I was going to gather footage this morning, somehow it broke just through the passage of time. So I've got to go through and correct that. Coming up next, I got to do a couple of golf swing animations for the actual golf system part of the game, which I can actually pull through Mixamo as well. I just have to do some inverse kinematics to make those line up with the gameplay. And then I got to do lots and lots of combat animations, which Mixamo does not have a ton. So I've got to either find a library for that, or I just got to get down and dirty and do those myself, which I can do either one. One will be a significantly greater time commitment. So I'm hoping to either find a combat animation library or find a 3D animator. Probably not the crowd, but hey, if you are hiding and you're a 3D animator in here, glad to have you on the team. It's not closed. Daniel, the living legend, the very prolific, very talented, has provided for us a track. So if I could get Google Slides out of the way, not what I wanted to do. Oh well. Can you still see the presentation? Okay, well, we'll live with the unprofessional. He's got this beautiful drum and bass track that he passed off to us. He's doing so much this semester, and I'm glad that he decided to also do some stuff for us because he really is so talented. I'm sad he's not here. I want to sing his praises to him, but I'll just let him know later.
Wait, I think he is here now.
Is he here?
I see Daniel Spiel. I think his last name is Spiel.
Yeah, I got here late.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Daniel.
Hello.
As I was saying.
We all loved your tracks on, oh man, what's it called? Project Entropy?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
They
Hey,
were awesome.
Since the maestro himself is here, I'm just going to go ahead and let this play and let you guys all enjoy his work.
It's gotten kind of quiet.
It might not actually be sharing.
Yeah, it might just be like your speakers or something.
Yeah, let me see. Because the audio source is still the presentation, right?
Did you check that little box when you shared your screen?
Let me go ahead
Share audio.
Try that again. There we go. Let me just switch my sound settings so I don't get the bleed. Good?
Yeah, much better. I love that. Oh, I thought it was done. Sorry.
It's just repeating with the main melody.
That was
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
It was like so synthy and like digital. I loved it.
Yeah, the main inspirations for it are Ape Escape and Bomberman Hero. So if you want to hear what like the soundtrack's going to sound like, go listen to those.
Good to know. It was called Ape Escape and
Bomberman Hero.
Cool.
Just watching everybody's head bob in their little Zoom
I
squares.
know, that's what I was gonna say. During the Entropy ones too, everybody was like, yeah.
And then, coming up next, the player locomotion's ready. All that's really left to do is hook up the combat. And then as far as the golf component, Rice is working hard to get the golf logic set up as far as like getting a hole for the balls to go into. And I gotta see if I can fix the head thing really quickly. I think I can. I think I understand what the issue is. Basically, all that's left now is content production. Basically, fleshing out the combat system, getting some other underlying systems done. But now that the multiplayer is implemented and it works well, most of the groundwork is laid. Huge thanks to Rice again. I know I've said it about 25 times now, but he really has been just a pleasure to have on the team. Same to Daniel. I'm really happy with my team. If anybody has any questions, now would be the time to ask them.
I love that we're finally getting an online multiplayer game. It's gonna be awesome.
I know. I feel like that's been like this huge challenge and nobody's really wanted to tackle.
It's definitely like one of the hardest things to do in game development.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest thing to do in Unity specifically, but I tossed Rice some resources and he rose to the challenge. So.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Will the players be able to pick up the heads after they've been hit?
Yeah, so it's a design decision. We're going to test a couple different options. One is for just a standard respawn system, where the golf heads stay on the pitch once they've been knocked off, so that kills really just accumulate scoring opportunities. And the other is that after a certain get up timer, the player will be able to run over and pick up their head themselves and put it back on. We're going to test both of those.
There are different avenues you could definitely take here for the design of this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's good to see you guys exploring them all.
Philosophy-wise, I feel like the best way to figure out what's the most fun is to just see what's the most fun.
Very true. Find the fun.
I feel like also the music, I feel like that really did a good job of setting the stage for that vibe, you could say, or the feeling that the game is gonna give the players. At least to me, that that track was really like feeling like an upbeat and like fun game that's like could be a little silly, but it's also like chill.
Yeah,
nice.
I wanted to feel nice and lighthearted.
Yeah, lighthearted. That's a good word. I couldn't think. I was like trying to describe lighthearted, but lived with like 6 different words.
Yeah, Daniel really is incredible. We told him like 4 keywords and he came back with that. It was perfect.
Nice. If you don't mind me asking, what words did you tell him?
I think, give me a second. I can probably find the message. Yeah, I think we said something like, we actually did it in voice, so I don't have the message, but we said like, you know, lighthearted, named a couple influences, said, you know, make it feel golfy, but not goofy. And he like came back with that. It was perfect.
Have you seen Head Snatchers?
Head Snatchers, that was the PlayStation game that like,
yeah,
like lose his head.
I just remembered that it exists.
Yeah, I had actually completely forgotten until you said something about it now.
Yeah. It's got some like, you could probably study it and see like what it does good and what it does bad.
Yeah. Yeah, inspiration's always an important thing to gather. I'm gonna jot that down.
Because it definitely has that like party game feel that seems you guys are going for.
Yeah, with these peer-to-peer multiplayer games, you know, obviously there is a competitive aspect to it. It's based off of sport and mixed with a blood sport. But fun with friends is kind of the goal anytime you go peer-to-peer multiplayer. So it's been one of the driving design decisions.
Does anyone have any other questions? Because if not, I think we are moving on to the last, but certainly not least, project, and that is Hephaestus, led by Kimberly.
All right, hi. We don't have a PowerPoint today because honestly, we don't really have that much to show right now. Me and Cooper were still working on the concept of the art, and it took us a long time to figure out what engines we were going to use and how to get that engines. So as of right now, we do kind of want to keep the story a secret because we want to put like twists and stuff in it for the players to play, so we don't want to tell you too much about that. Daniel's still working on music for us, so don't have anything too much to show there either. So I'm sorry, it's going to be very short. If Joshua would, he's showing we're using RPG Maker. Joshua and Matt are both working on learning how to use the triggers and place down map designs. And Joshua has a small thing to show how the triggers work and what he can do with them, if he wouldn't mind sharing.
Just give me 1 second to make sure this looks okay.
What's the specific version of RPG?
We're using NV.
Decide on
NV.
Nice.
Yeah, the first time I ever touched it, and I think Matt as well. So it's our first project on it. So I kind of don't go too hard on it. It's okay.
I'm really impressed with like just how much Entropy and gosh, what was the golf one called again?
Full Contact.
Full Contact Golf. I'm surprised at how much they've crammed into this first portion of the semester. I'm impressed. I feel like the first project update is usually the toughest one because everybody's just kind of learning how their team dynamic works and what they're going to be working with.
So I'm going to start this. Just brace your ears. The volume does not go down for some reason. Can you guys hear it and see it?
Yeah.
There is a way for you to turn that down for reference sake, and I'll tell you later.
So did you guys write this, the chat stuff? I mean, the dialogue and everything?
Yes, that's what you do.
Sorry, I had my unmute button set to spacebar, and that's also the controls of the game. So yeah, so the dialogue I wrote myself is just a little placeholder for now. So you get 2 options. You can say yes or no. Either one gives a different option. I also have ones for basic interaction with an object, because this is supposed to be like a tutorial type of thing. A lot of this is just placeholder for now until we like get some more assets in there. This is all the free stuff that comes with it, or free things with the pre-paid game. But so I just kind of messed around with a lot of the triggers. Just a lot of basic conversation. When they enter the building, you get the entire group. Hopefully she doesn't spam that like she was doing earlier. But yeah, this is basically supposed to be a little hospital. It's a lot of just work in progress, just getting used to the triggers. There's actually an approach right here. So if I walk there, she makes that comment. And so, yeah, so it's a lot of, we still have to set up the entire structure of the place because it's a lot of level design, and we just need to organize that and we'll be good. But yeah, this is all we have so far. It will have a battle system in place eventually. This system comes with a lot of pre-made assets for that, so it's very convenient. Oh my goodness, here she goes again. But I did make it so that if you exit or enter this building, it will switch to having no party members or having party members. So that's neat. And that's about it. It's not a lot, but it's a start for now. The first couple of weeks were mainly spent getting the program and then familiarizing ourselves with it a bit. So yeah, I'll stop sharing that. We do have some music, but it's not in the game yet because I'm still trying to figure out how to put music in the game. Let me see real quick. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Oh, cool. This is a piece, of course, made by Daniel. This is actually just the Daniel Music Club. It's not a TigerDev.
Daniel's fan club.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
This is nice.
Is this a short piece? Kimberly, have we decided what we're gonna make this? If it's just gonna be the like walking around music, or if it's the intro?
I thought Daniel was revising this music.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah, this is more of like a demo piece, but I'll probably use this as more like a main theme for the game.
So that's about all we have so far.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
That's looking pretty good.
I'm so excited to see how the art turns out, because I know Cooper is very talented when it comes to pixel art, and Kimberly is very determined and is very good at churning out lots of stuff in a short amount of time. So I'm
I
excited
like that careful wording there.
What do you mean?
I can't leave. Oh, what's this?
Oh, wow.
So I've never clicked escape or backspace. Yeah, there we go. Coffees.
How does the dialogue system work? Is it like a tree-based thing, or do you have to go in individually to each character?
So I can actually show that right now. I guess if I show the maker itself, if you can see it. Basically, you can set events. So if you stand right here, oh, not that. I believe it's based upon whatever you have. So if I have an NPC right here, you basically can set up, hey, can right click, click new, show text, and then type in, hey, or whatever you want to put. Then you can attach a face to it. So whatever the face you want to work with is. And then you can just work from there. It has options for saying for like Boolean yes or no type things, all that fun stuff. It's very convenient for someone who doesn't want to go through a long line of code to get something done.
You don't have to struggle for like multiple days trying to just get a text box to display like Game Maker.
Yeah.
That sounds like really cool. I might look into that. I've heard you guys talk about RPG Maker before, but being an artist who has no programming experience, that might be something that would be fun to play around with.
RPG Maker is a really good engine.
Yeah, it is a little on the pricier side, but that's just because everything's
Oh, I thought you said it
Like-
was free for some reason.
I said
So how
free
much was
assets
it?
for a paid game. This one was, I think, 70.
There are different
Honestly.
versions you can get.
Yeah, this is is this the second most recent, or is it the
This
like?
is the second most recent.
Yeah.
Are we able? Hey Connor, are we able to like reimburse them at least for part of that?
I think so.
TigerDev? So yeah, if y'all,
I remember talking to
reach
Eli
out.
a little bit about it.
yeah, because that's like
Um,
what dues are for, is to help pay for that stuff.
mhm.
If you wait to like Black Friday, like this, I bought this $70 game went down to $20 with some extra pack like music and stuff,
Wow.
Yeah, we
and
can
an
definitely
older
do that.
Noted.
and an older system called RPG Maker XP, which can still do a lot of the same things, went to $2.
Wow, that's crazy.
I will say if we get the in the past, the way we've usually handled these things is that like engine licenses and stuff are usually owned by the club, so that way they can kind of be handed down as projects
That's
kind
smart.
of
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
move on. So I guess this copy you have now is your personal copy. If anyone else needs to get a license, we can probably get that, and then that would be more of a like a club resource other people could use. Although if it goes down to like 20, we could definitely do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll
Steam
keep
is
talking
res-
this way.
Oh, I stopped. There we go. That's how I stopped sharing.
That's a very cool project to see. My first game, like forever ago, was with RPG Maker VX Ace or whatever it was, like the one before MV, and it's just so nostalgic seeing all the same menus and all the stuff it has.
Does anyone else have any last questions, concerns?
I'm new.
Yeah. Hi, Alex. I was
Welcome.
noticing you over there.
Hello.
Welcome.
I think Christian, we're in the game dev class. And I
Nice.
was looking for projects to make music for, although I don't want to step on Daniel's toes.
Don't worry about that.
I think the more music, the better is kind of the vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried to click the link on the website, the tigerdev.club.
Yeah, sorry, the website's kind of under construction still.
Yeah. So
Like
I don't
as we
know
speak.
how to go about joining. I was in German club for a long time, but I joined that freshman year, so it's been forever since I joined a club.
I will put the AU Involve link in the chat, and there you can sign up, like request to be a member or whatever, and that will put you on our email list.
Okay.
And also, are you in the Discord?
I am in the Discord. Yeah, that's
Okay,
how I
good.
found the meeting.
That's probably the most important thing is the Discord.
Yeah, the Discord pretty much makes you a member. Although to be an official member and have like a card-carrying title, which basically just means you have a role in Discord and you get to vote at things, you have to pay dues, which are, I believe, $10 per year, per school year.
Yes.
Okay. As far as like my actual music goes, I mostly do electronic kind of stuff. I have my SoundCloud pulled up, although if you guys would rather, I can just put that in the Discord.
Yeah, put it in the isn't there a music channel?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, audio. Put it in the audio channel, and then we can all go check it out later
Okay.
too, and it won't like disappear after.
Preface this stuff. I made it all on my phone. Most of this is like 2 or 3 years old. My most current stuff, I'm using Logic Pro X for, Logic Pro 10, whatever you want to call it.
Same.
But I don't have any of it actually uploaded to anything since I've kind of pivoted away from the SoundCloud. But I did just upload 3 new things. If you guys want to listen to that too.
Absolutely. Thanks for introducing yourself.
Yeah, no problem. I'll check out that AU Involve link and get signed up.
Yeah, and if you have any more questions, feel free to like DM any of either me or Connor or Harper or Ezra. Honestly, anyone will probably answer your questions. But yeah. Or you can just always just ask a question in general. in the general chat and Discord.
Alrighty, thank you guys.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome
of course,
to the
welcome.
club.
Good
All right.
seeing you.
Oh yeah, Alex. So what year are you, out of curiosity?
Oh, so I'm a 5th year senior. This is my last semester.
Yay!
Woo.
Congrats.
So long as this game dev class and the stats class don't end it all here.
I feel you. I also have 2 classes left. Or I don't know if you just have 2, but you know, yeah.
These 2 and then computer architecture, and then I'm out. Yeah.
Oh.
Nice. I've got one last thing to talk about before everyone leaves.
Yes. Sorry, I keep blabbering on.
Boom. In the chat, we've got a new game jam. Starts in 2 weeks. It'll be on a Wednesday, and it takes place during the wellness day. Because like it's a wellness day in the middle of the week. No one's like going home to their family or anything. It's just kind of an awkward day where we have nothing to do. So why not make a game during that time? The exact time you have to develop games will be from 6 p.m. the night before up until midnight. So that'll be like a full, I think it's 30 hours. Theme will be announced at that 6 p.m. time. There are the other rules and stuff on the page. We do have prizes for this one. And then there's a criteria list for what you'll be judged on. And as for judging, I'm currently working on getting other developers outside of TigerDev that are actually in the industry to judge the game jam.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we can get some pretty good feedback. So if you're interested in that and you're looking to get a team, go ahead and like hit the join button on the page there. And then hopefully closer to the jam, I will get some sort of meeting together to where people can organize for the jam. That kind of thing.
I was gonna say, Connor, I know we talked about for the Southern one doing like almost like randomized team generating, but for this one, are we kind of doing a combination, or like how are we doing teams? Is it gonna be like you can pick your own team, or you can kind of like be like, I need a team?
This will be more of the standard game jams we've done in the past. To where you
For those of us who don't remember that, can you explain? And for our new member like Alex, and I'm totally not asking for myself.
So in the past, the game jams are usually you can build your own team with your friends or whatever and people you know. But also, if there are any people that are looking to join a team, we can also help you find a team for that.
Okay, cool.
That's pretty much how that works. The one limit there is that teams are limited to 3 people.
Good to know. And the theme won't be announced until what, 6 p.m. that when it starts?
Yep. I think we'll have I think that'll be the meeting where we kind of show off the jam and organize teams.
Cool.
How many jams between here and the Southeastern College game
or
jam?
Southern student, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one's over the summer, right?
Scheduled.
Yeah. Sad.
We might be able to squeeze one in, but we don't have like a spring break, so there aren't very many good times to do one.
I feel like also, depending on how well this one goes, will help us understand what we're capable of squeezing in.
Yeah. We've done one-day jams in the past.
I know, I just mean we haven't done them in a while, and not with like COVID and not having, yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But that is it for tonight. I'll catch you guys next week. I'll catch Daryl next week where he talks about Torch technologies. And I guess we'll keep you updated on the developer interview situation and what the content of next week's meeting will be.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a good week.
Bye.
Is the game jam on Discord as well?
You said, is it on Discord?
Yeah, like, are you gonna put it on Discord just because, like, I haven't.
So that the chat doesn't disappear.
Yes, you're right. I should put that there.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.